How are you, man? Thanks for doing this.
Thanks for having me, man.
You
I'm,
got
I'm
an
good.
awesome setup there in the background.
Yeah, man. I'm out in the studio.
Well, that's perfect because I'm gonna have a kind of a culmination of some questions that are about Sabaton, but also some questions about you, if you don't mind.
Cool. No problem.
No problem at all. And yeah, go ahead.
Where are you located?
I'm in New York City.
All right, New York City.
Yeah. I'm
You just
originally
moved
from
up.
Russia myself,
Okay, cool. And you speak Russian as well?
fluently.
Cool. That's good. And so it's like 12 o'clock or something, New York?
Yes, no, it's 2 p.m.
Two. Right.
2 p.m. Yeah.
Cool. It's been a
Hey,
while.
yeah, it's been a while, right? Since you came to United States in New York, right?
Yeah, especially New York. We were in the US in September with Priest. But
Oh my God, how did I miss that? That's a
yeah,
combination.
that was a tour, man.
That was an amazing tour. And I actually became a fan of you guys from when you toured. It's when you just joined the band, 2013, 2014. And it was Iced Earth, I think, headlining, and you guys were co-headlined with them.
Right.
And I gotta tell you, man, Iced Earth is my favorite band of all time. You blew them out of the water when it came to performance.
Where was in New York?
In New York, yeah. It was I think at that time it was either called Nokia Theater or PlayStation Theater on
Yeah,
42nd Street.
yeah, right. It's so funny though. Like every time we come over, it's like, okay, we're playing a new venue in New York City, but it's always the same venue. It's just changed name.
Yeah, some different company always buys it over, and
Yeah,
that's what happens. And I was really
yeah,
surprised. I never heard of you guys up until that point. Now I'm like a hardcore metalhead, and I was surprised in terms of like the performance. You guys like destroyed Iced Earth in my eyes. It was just the performance of the night, and that happened multiple times that I've seen you live. I think you guys have just so much energy, and it looks like all of you, each one of you guys, is just having so much fun during the concert when I've seen you guys.
yeah. Cool. Thanks for saying that.
And actually, with a new record, it's called the War to End All Wars, right?
Yeah.
Is there anything like what I want to ask you? Was there anything in particular that you were proud of in this record in terms of a song or songs that you think that really is like I am really proud of this? And at the same time, I have a second part to that question: is what do you think that this particular album brings to the table in comparison to the other records, especially the ones that you've been on?
Well, first of all, I'm very proud of the record itself. Uh, I mean, it's a follow-up to the Great War.
Yeah,
It's about World War One, and where we found that, I mean, you can't cover whole war in one album. You can't cover it in two albums either. You
yeah,
need to do, and there are so many stories, man. Like, so it's total, luxury problem in a way that we have all these stories, but there's only so much you can fit onto an album.
yeah.
So therefore, we wanted to make, you know, a sequel, if you will. I don't, maybe that's not the right word, but
Like a continuation, almost like a part two to it.
yeah, exactly. And then we also got the chance to update, some of the stuff. There's always like that with albums, oh, we should have done that. We should have had less of that. So it's kind of a great process to do in a way, because it sounds very much alike sound-wise now, not
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
sound-wise, but it's like updated and tweaked. So I think, or I know it's the best sounding album that we had done.
And I think it's an artistic thing, right? You're never satisfied with your work. You can release the best album, the highest selling album, and you're still like, I could have hit that drum a little bit better. Something could have been done a little bit better.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think that just simply has to do with time. I can
Yeah.
listen to albums that we recorded years ago, and it's like, damn, I should have done that drum fill like that. But I guess also it is like that for a reason. It should stay there in time. So to have that chance to do that, well, that was great.
Hmm.
To have all these stories on it, that there's quite a few of them that I never heard about personally before. Hellfighters being one of them.
Yeah, yeah.
It's about African American and Puerto Rican soldiers. They were not allowed to fight alongside the ordinary American soldiers,
Yep.
but they still had to fight for the country.
And if they still would send them to front lines.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
which is like crazy, you know. You're expected to fight for your country, but you can't fight with these guys because of your fucking skin color.
Yeah.
It's
American history.
yeah, you know, it's crazy. And then the song became so strong. So, and me and Chris really got like free reins on that.
And in
So
terms
that,
of,
sorry.
I was gonna say in terms of like drumming as well, because like, do you have something in terms of the songs that are just like, man, I really fucking killed it on this one. This is what kind of woman. Do you had particular songs like that as well? Like, because the lyrics, I'll actually have a question about that too. I'm really impressed with Sabaton lyrics, especially as a Russian person. But I'll come back to that. I was really interested, just like also from perspective of a drummer. You know, it's like, were there any particular moments you were just like, yeah, we're taking it to the next level?
I think, yeah, for sure. As far as playing, there's a lot more space. This is my personal opinion now, but I think absolutely Hellfighters. I think Sarajevo, the opening track.
Yeah,
yeah, Stormtroopers is great too. Unkillable Soldier is very different. Really dynamic, very dynamic song. That was really tricky to record because if you play, you know, super soft, and I usually don't play very soft at all, but I like it. Oh, like I like dynamic music. I listen to a lot of it myself. My wife's band is a super dynamic band where they can, really take it down and then. So yeah,
I think Sabaton is very known for that. They're very, very dynamic band. From each element that comes in, whether it be the piano, whether it be the drums, the guitars, the vocals, your kinds of vocals, I think it really all kind of connects into this very explosive thing that I would say it gave me very much, I would think of Manowar, but more, more expansive and more advanced in my opinion. And don't worry about it. I'm going to move into a different question because I want to also ask you just about you as well. Kind of, you know, I'm also always like to research and make sure I get it all the things right. And I've kind of found out, I didn't know this before about you, is that you started on bass and you play guitar, right? And
yep, I started on bass. Yeah, that's correct. I am a terrible guitar player. I can play guitar well enough to be able to write songs.
Got it.
I would never call myself a guitar player. But yeah, for like riffing and chords, sure. But then somebody needs to guitarify it. That's, you know.
Yeah. And but kind of, what was the transition from bass? Like, fuck that, I'm gonna go to drums. What was the reason you switched over? What kind of caused that? You had just particular interest, or?
No, it's super simple. I always wanted to play drums, but at the music school in my tiny city where I come from, there was no spots. So I had to choose something else.
You had to choose a different instrument.
Yeah, so I played bass until the drum spot was available. Fuck this, and then drums.
I'm sure that kind of also give you extra. I think, you know, just from a perspective of knowing multiple instruments, you don't have to be a master at them. It does add to your whole versatility and understanding of maybe like song structure or whatever it may be and how you can add to it, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think every musician should have a little bit of because it's like saying I only listen to black metal. Well, cool, but you're going to be very, you know, narrow in your musicianship. If you, I don't need to say necessarily you don't have to love Fleetwood Mac, which I personally do, but I think you will get something out of it.
100% agree.
And I think a good song is a good song, even if it's Beyonce. You know, if you like it, then you like it. Great.
Good music is good music.
Exactly what it should. Yeah. And it's different from you and me, the dog, and everybody, you know?
100%. And do you have like off the top of your head, like 5 drummers that you're like, oh man, they're absolute badasses?
Well, speaking of Judas Priest, Scott Travis has always been one of my favorite drummers. I think, you know, now being on tour, now we only did 1 month since Richie got sick.
Yeah.
But I could see this guy for 1 month straight every day. So which was amazing. When I heard the Painkiller album the first time, it blew my mind.
As many of our minds, right? The first time we heard that album, it was something to a whole different level, like Rust in Peace, Megadeth, Painkiller, Master Play. It was just like, oh my God.
Yeah, totally. And like, I wish that happened more often these days. You know, when you hear an album, it happens every few years. You hear an album and you just go, what? And it's like, I don't even understand, you know? And I love that feeling because that's how it started with me with the Ride the Lightning.
Yeah.
I heard it in intent.
That was my favorite album.
Yeah, same here. And I couldn't understand, like, where's this noise coming from? You know, it's like, you know, that feeling, like it's almost, there's a mix of like a little bit scary and intriguing, like you just need to know.
I had that feeling the first time I heard Sepultura.
Yeah.
And I started with, at 5 or 6 years old, I heard Arise. I was like, what is this? This is scary, but I want to know more.
Yeah, and that's really early too.
Yeah, man. And and then I've also found out, like, I kept going and kind of digging about you and finding out facts that I didn't know. Snow Shaw was your drumming teacher.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, dude, I talked to him yesterday. Yeah, he was. I mean, I was also a big King Diamond fan. I still am.
By the way, for those who are uninitiated, Snow Shaw is a Swedish metal legend, basically. King Diamond, Merciful Fate, Therion, Memento Mori. It's like, for those who don't know, it's like, that's why I'm like, whoa, he's your teacher. That's awesome.
Yeah, Dream Evil, Ill Will.
Ill Will, yeah.
So basically what happened was that when I was 16, I started to drum tech for a band from my hometown they got a record deal and they started doing some support tours. And they supported a band called Hardcore Superstar, which is like a rock and roll sleaze band maybe. And they also have a phenomenal drummer. And we started talking about, dude, I was 16. So, and I asked him, you know, how do you become a great drummer, blah, 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 I guess, you know. And he said that he took lessons from Snowy back in the day. So he said he will probably never ever give lessons again, but if you get the chance, do it. And then, like, you know, 2 or 3 years later, he announces that he will do lessons, and I got a spot.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It must have been just such a fun experience to learn, like, firsthand, right?
Yeah, definitely. It was a tough learning curve.
I would imagine so.
But dude, I owe so much to this guy. He was also the one recommended me to Evergrey, the band I joined and started to tour professionally. And so many valuable lessons there learned, like also more than playing. Like, you know, I remember him telling me this, and this is a good tip for anybody that wants to go on tour. Nobody wants an asshole on the tour bus.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to be in a tour bus, you need to be cool, you know? Okay, you know.
It's something you don't think about. You always think about just the music, the drumming, the guitar, whatever it may be.
I'm a great player, yeah, they're cool. But it's got to work with a lot of people living like this for weeks, or in our case, years.
Yeah, it's a family.
Cool lessons.
That 100. That must have been, just for me, again, like, it's an exciting thing to have like such a legend teacher. And I remember even reading with Steve Vai how Frank Zappa just tortured him when he would teach him how to play guitar. So it's just an unforgettable experience. But I'm gonna tell you something else. On this channel that I do kind of reactions, reviews, interviews, and stuff like that. I can't tell you how many fans on this channel either mention your name or Floor, and always need to point out, it's like, you know who's Floor's husband is? Oh, do you know who Hans' wife is? How many fans we have? And the question I think you've probably gotten asked quite a lot: how is it living in a heavy metal house?
Great. I would never live in any other type of house. But I mean, also, like, you know, like, dude, we go grocery shopping, we go drive to kindergarten. It's like total parent loop sometime, you know.
Of course.
So, and then we're fortunate enough to come out here, and, you know, my drums are right there, and piano is standing here. We can be creative in one way or another.
Is it difficult from a perspective of, I can imagine being, touring in two different bands and both of you guys, it could be tough at times as well, right? In terms of seeing each other and whether it be family, because I imagine tour life could be a difficult one.
Touring life becomes a lot different when you get kids. No doubt about it. But thank for this FaceTime.
Yes.
It was made for touring musicians, I guess. And then one thing is that when we're home, we're home.
And that's a good thing.
I can spend 100% focus on my family.
And I think that's the most wise thing to do. 100% disconnect, and you're with your family.
Yeah, that's it. And I don't know, like if you work, 9 to 5, then I don't know how much of the time you're there. And I mean mentally there. Now we can have weeks at a time or months, and now for years. So yeah, super fortunate, and I wouldn't change it.
Change your thing, right?
No.
I don't know if you're
the fucking pandemic. I would like to change that.
Yeah, I would hope so. I would love to see you guys back on tour, back in the city, back in New York. As a matter of fact, I would actually lean into a later question, but I think it's a good time to ask it. Are you guys going to do a 2022 tour for the End of All Wars album?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the tours that are announced, they're announced, and as long as we can go, then we'll do it. Absolutely. I mean, let's go.
It's about time.
Absolutely.
And I know kind of, I've been also brought to my attention, I reacted to the song Defense of Moscow. Mm-hmm. And then I found out that song originally was written by a YouTuber who's a big fan of Sabaton. And he basically does covers of Sabaton and decided to do kind of in the vein of Sabaton, a song. And next thing you know, you guys recover his song that's in the vein of Sabaton. How did the whole thing come about and kind of whole process start? Do you know how it started?
Well, I remember some of his stuff started to come up. Radio Tapok is his name. Mm-hmm. And then he came out to a show, and we met the guy, and he's a great guy, very funny guy, actually. Great humor. And therefore, it's like a good fit, good match. And it just felt like a very natural thing to do, and not like bloody serious in a sense either. Like, we can do a cover. We've done tons of covers.
And you know what it is? You guys, the way you translated it, because I heard the Russian version in Russian, and the way the song was translated, it gave me chills because I felt like a Russian person wrote it. It's hard just to translate and get it right.
Yeah.
And it almost kind of like gave me this chills, like, holy shit, they really understand it. That leads into the whole question I said I was going to come back to the lyrics, is that I can't speak for every country, obviously, because you do battles on every war, conflict, every different sides. The lyrics, they literally speak to the people of that time, of that story. And I would sit there, I grew up, but I grew up with Russian culture. And to know what Russian people went through and the kind of the feelings that they had, it's all portrayed in the music and the song. And whether you be playing the national anthem of Russia on the guitar from the Moscow Defense, it really gives that kind of feeling. And kind of what's the process to get it really right, to get the lyrics really to hit on an emotional level?
And you're really putting your finger on the spot. Is that a saying in English? I guess so. That's, I guess, probably more important than the music in this case, because it is an original track and you're going to translate it. You can't fuck that up.
Yeah.
So therefore, there goes a lot of thought and help from Russian friends and to really get it right, and Radio Tapok, of course, as well. So there was one thing that was very important from the get-go.
And how about the lyrics for other songs and from other albums in general? Like, I think the lyrics in general, a lot of people are even asking me, like, are they going to do songs about the Napoleon War, or are they going to do songs about this particular wars? People are really interested to expand this idea that Sabaton does and really covers different topics. And you kind of find a perfect medium of making it serious and too important, and at the same time you find lightheartedness in every moment, like Christmas Truce. It's essentially it's a sad song, but there's also light in there as well.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that goes for war history in general. You have so many emotions. You have hope. There's desperations, anger, and Christmas Truce is our first song about peace. Actually,
Yeah.
even if it was short,
a short-lived piece.
Yeah, but I liked how that song turned out.
And
A very emotional song, and very. That's another one. But every song you need to make sure it gets justice done to the story.
do you think there's a topic that's just off the table that's a little too much to kind of address in the song, or you feel if you do it the right way, kind of the door's open?
I think that it has to be in the history. It can't be anything that's open or has not been decided on what happened. That's what I think. It has to have happened. It also has to be done. This is what happened. Whether you like it or not, history, that's how it works,
You don't want speculation, and you also want time to pass, right? Where this event was in the past, maybe not something that's current and raw, right?
No, because you don't know how it's going to end or turn out, then so that, I guess that's a very important thing. It has to be history, and we don't take any sides. It's non-political. So therefore, I think just the fact that it's history is important.
I think that's actually, I would say that about Sabaton, is that you're almost like BBC in a way that you tell stories. It's not about sides.
BBC Metal.
BBC of metal, exactly.
Yeah.
It's not about taking sides. It's about telling a story, and then you make up your own mind, or just, hey, this is what happened. And there's good people and bad people on all sides.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. So would you say my wife's band is then BBC Nature Metal?
Nature metal? Well, they kind of they hit into a lot of different ones, right? They go into science, they go into books and literature and everything like that.
Totally.
And Nightwish is another band. Like I grew up with very much Slayer, Megadeth, like the hardest side of heavy metal. And as I got older and I'm just a couple of years older than you, as I've calmed down a little bit, I'm like, I need to expand. And that's when I went into more symphonic metal and power metal. And there's so much good stuff out there. Yeah. Like Nightwish, like Epica, like Sabaton, all you guys, you really bring a different side to metal that people, I don't think, often see very much.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
I think it's important to have both. It's like you can't have Sepultura's or Slayer's harsh lyrics every single day in your head. You sometimes need something a little different, maybe like Judas Priest, like Sabaton. You have to switch it up as well. You have to be, you said it before, you have to be flexible, right?
I think, especially as a musician, I think it's super important. And also, if you don't, man, you're going to miss out on so many great albums. And if you think it's like, that it's awkward to listen to in front of people, just hide and listen to them,
Yeah.
Dude, same here. I grew up with Slayer, and then I went to funk, played that a lot, and who cares,
I mean, it's also important to know they're also inspired by that. They're inspired by funk and blues and jazz and all these kinds of things.
Yeah.
And I was going to ask you also, from your perspective, for your kind of career as a musician, is there one big moment that you were just immensely proud of? Like the proudest moment for you as a musician?
Oof. So here's the thing, that it usually happens afterwards. You realize that afterwards. I rarely have that when it happens, because usually you're so focused on playing and right there. But we did a show in my hometown, or closest to my hometown, in Gothenburg, and we played a song called A Lifetime of War.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a live shot on YouTube of that.
I'll try to find it, and I'll post a link for guys so they can check it out.
Yeah, cool. For me, that's one of the few moments I got that feeling when I was there, not 2 weeks later when I got home. So it hit me, and dude, I'm gonna start crying. I can't sit here playing this song with tears in my eyes, you know. So I had to. But
Yeah, and it's such an intense moment. Gothenburg, right? Metal
yeah,
one of the biggest metal meccas. Your
yeah,
hometown. You're playing.
yeah.
It's like it's so much at one moment.
Yeah, all they put their lighters up, or I guess phones nowadays.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was one of them, and another one was Wacken, 2019, when we headlined Wacken. We did both main stages at the same time. That I got on my flight home the next day. It's like, holy fucking shit, you know, we just did that. That's crazy. But you're so focused on it when you're there, you know.
Yeah, you're trying to be professional. You're trying to focus.
Yeah, 100%.
That's a journey I have to make to Wacken myself. I have never been, and I have to make it out there.
Yeah, you're gonna love it, man. It's here comes Per. All right, you should definitely. It's great. Det går bra för henne.
The interview has expanded, right?
Yes, maybe. I don't know where they went.
Oh, no worries, no worries. And what I was gonna.
Come in. Oh man. Okay, I gotta let him in. My dog is going crazy.
No worries. I was gonna just say kind of the last question of the
just let me get go.
Yeah.
All right, last one.
Yeah, I don't want to keep you longer than I have
Dude,
to.
no worries at all.
Is the last question would be is what do fans have to look forward to with this album, in a sense, musically, lyrically, for the songs they haven't heard yet, right? We already released a couple of singles from this particular album, and it's coming out in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Awesome.
What do they have to look forward to? Like, how would you put it from your perspective, so fans can get excited and just what they've been waiting for? From
my perspective, I think it's a big journey, both musically and from the story perspective. You know, if you're down with really digging deeper into the stories, I think it's a great. It's a great background. I think it's a great a way to really do that.
How are you?
So you can dig deep into the stories and really find out more about the stories. And if you just want to enjoy the music and the lyrics that are on the songs, I think it's the perfect album, because it's going to take you on a roller coaster from start to finish.
Perfect.
That being said, I stand by what I said earlier about it being a very diverse album musically.
A very diverse
album. I'm super proud of it, and I can't wait for it to get out so we can actually talk about it.
And I'm sure the fans are going to explode with joy, because I'm sure you've seen a lot of the feedback on YouTube and how people are going crazy. And I see the love. I'm not even going to other videos. When I do a reaction of Sabaton, the love that comes from every country, every place, every fan. I haven't heard one even so comment about Sabaton, myself included. I'm just like absolutely in love with every single song that I've heard from you guys. And I'm wishing you guys, Russians were full of toasts. And I wish you guys even a bigger year, to come back strong with, after all this craziness and pandemic, to come back strong to tour the whole world. And perhaps I'll be one of those guys in New York in the midst of the concert with you and just jamming it out and keeping it metal.
Yeah, dude, I can't wait to see you. I can't wait to get out there and dude, as fast as it opens up, let's go, man. We're more ready than ever.
Thank you, Hannes.
Thank you, man.
Thank you so much for doing this.
Hey, my pleasure. Anytime, man. You want to cut that phone call out?
I'll cut it out.
Okay.
Is there anything else you want to cut out? Because I'll cut out the phone call and make sure just everything kind of goes smoothly.
Cool. No, that's it. That's it.